You ever heard of an HOA so greedy they forgot who really controls nature? Well, this story isn't just about water. It's about respect and what happens when you push a good man too far. Tom Walker was a quiet, 46-year-old man who lived on the edge of a peaceful riverside community. He wasn't rich, but he was content. His small wooden cabin sat near a stream his grandfather once cared for. That creek had been part of their family for generations, both legally and emotionally. But the HOA didn't care about that. They said Tom's rustic cabin was an eyesore. Then one day, they raised his community fees by 300%. When Tom asked why, the HOA president, Mr. Carlton, a man in his 50s with a smug smile, said, "If you can't afford to live here, maybe you shouldn't." Tom didn't yell. He didn't argue. He just looked at the river that ran behind his cabin and said quietly, "You'll see." A week later, HOA workers showed up to mark his part of the land for a new walking path. They laughed when he reminded them that the stream's edge legally belonged to him. "Sure it does," Carlton said, "until we reroute it." What they didn't know was that Tom's late father had worked in civil water engineering, and that the stream was connected to an old, manually operated dam upstream. That night, as rain started to fall, Tom drove his old pickup to the dam. He knew every rusted lever and creaking gear by heart. He adjusted the floodgates, not dangerously, but enough to remind the HOA that nature couldn't be bought or bullied. By morning, the water level had risen just enough to flood the HOA's brand new walking path and soak the expensive flower beds of every board member's yard. Panic broke out, homeowners calling, complaining, demanding answers. When Carlton stormed to Tom's house yelling about sabotage, Tom handed him a folder. Inside was proof, land documents signed decades ago, showing that the creek and its flow control belonged entirely to the Walker family. The look on Carlton's face drained faster than the water flowing back to the stream. The county judge confirmed it later that week. The HOA had no authority over Tom's land or water. In fact, they owed him thousands in damages for unlawful interference. When reporters asked Tom how it felt to win, he just smiled and said, "They raised my fees. I raised the river. Now maybe they'll learn to respect both nature and neighbors. If you believe that justice always finds a way to flow back where it belongs, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story. Because sometimes calm waters hide the strongest currents.